Welcome back to the program, and Fridays mean it's going to be Funny Friday. So we bring in someone from the Funny Bone to talk about all the things that are happening out there. Hi, Bill Blank. How are you?
I am swell. How are you guys?
We're not unwell, thank you.
Nice to be here in the new digs.
Yeah, how do you like the new digs?
Beautiful. I love it.
Yeah?
I love it. I feel like I just bought, like I went beyond the starter home. Like I just bought the next one.
The second house.
Yeah, I got to make my own kitchen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the kitchen.
I've never had an island. I have an island now.
And you can move it.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's mobile.
We'll show you that here in a little bit later on this program, okay?
Something.
Yeah, treats and eats coming up a little later on today.
I did just realize, like, when I left the house today, is tennis shoes and sweater acceptable?
Absolutely.
Let me find out if tennis shoes are acceptable.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're so much classier than me, though.
Yeah, you just got to put the blazer on over top of that.
Yeah, he pulls it off way better than I do. Because I was like, nobody will see my feet. It's not going to matter. But
yeah, now they do.
Edge, bam.
It's all open now.
Everybody's feet. Yeah, you can't wear your underwear under the table.
We had to get rid of No Pants Friday.
Yeah, that's the drawback.
That was my favorite day to be here.
The reason he came in the first place. He was chagrined to find out we don't do it anymore. Anyway, but Funny Bone is going to be a hopping place this weekend, and tonight people are really pumped about this.
Everybody's pumped about Donnie Baker.
Yeah.
You know, Donnie was here, I want to say about 4 months ago, maybe something like. He just did one night. It was a tester. A lot of these guys like Donnie Baker, the guys that are got big off of YouTube and stuff.
Right.
And they're doing, some of them, like Donnie is a comic, like he always was. So like he transitioned beautifully. But a lot of those guys, what they'll do is they go through the clubs kind of on a test run, and they do one night and see what kind of tickets they'll sell.
What the response is, yeah.
Right, and Donnie Baker sold out one night in like, I don't know, 5 minutes. So
that's
so he's coming back. He's coming back to do 3 shows.
I love that. And we were kind of talking during the break. The Funny Bone has really stepped up with these special engagements.
Yes,
like they're really stepping it up to make sure that there's people, you hear their name and you're like, oh, I've heard of it. Maybe I haven't ever seen their work, but I've heard of it. And Donnie Baker's one for me. I've never seen his work, but I've heard his material.
I mean, when I didn't really know who he was until a buddy of mine had been opening for him quite a bit.
Okay.
And so then I looked him up, and it all basically started with a YouTube video on a baseball field, where he's just, I can't even remember how it went, but he's real, I don't know, like he's coming off like he's being serious, but he's just
you're just joking.
Yeah, he's a donkey. So like that's what it all started off, and he just kept making more and more. I mean, he's got a lot of content out there. So if you just YouTube Donnie Baker, you'll be able to check it out. Hole.
And if you're saying, what, is he too good to come in to do the show here this morning?
Yeah, it's just a late flight.
Yeah, just a later flight today. And he's going to be able to get in safely today because the weather that's coming into the area is not going to be here for a while.
Yeah,
that's what I'm here for. I'm always I'm the crafty lefty in the bullpen.
They pull you out.
She just calls me. I need you to come in for the save. So here I am. But I'll be there. I'll be opening for him.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
Good job,
be
man.
there. Yeah.
So have you seen him in stand-up?
Yeah, I opened for him last time he was here.
Oh, you did?
So what does he like to talk about? Because I've heard him on the radio, and you kind of hear his inputs now and again. But if he's doing a whole show, what in the world is he talking about?
He is your classic. He's kind of your classic Bob and Tom comic.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. The Bob and Tom guys that got really big there for a while.
Right.
He's that type. He's that somewhat rednecky kind of. He's like your older uncle that still wears Zubas, to the tailgate party.
Right.
Like he's that guy.
Okay.
And he's
but very relatable.
Very relatable.
Lot of different people, yeah.
Oh, people love him. I mean, like I said, he sold out in 5 minutes, and he's just hilarious. He's just. I'm trying to think of things to compare him to. Well,
if you're having a hard time comparing him to somebody else, that is good because
that's a good thing.
That puts him in his own little area, his own little niche. Then
that's what I always hoped. I remember when I first started, when you would go to the open mics and the guys that have been around a while, they'd introduce people. They say, oh, he's like so-and-so, he's like so-and-so. If you like Stephen Wright, you'll love this guy.
Yeah.
And I always felt insulted because he never compared me to anybody. And then after about 4 years, I was like, oh, actually, that was a good thing.
That's a compliment.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, he's almost like your, what was the guy on, is it Red Green?
The Red Green show.
Yeah, like a Red Green, but a more modern guy.
More modern version.
Yeah,
of it.
I mean, it's hard to, but it's hard to pigeonhole him into anything.
So what do you have? What kind of mindset do you go through if you have somebody like Donnie Baker coming in today? You know what kind of audience he's going to draw. There he is. There's Donnie there with his hat. You can turn your hat around backwards like
no,
this?
I definitely don't do that. I'm not pulling that look off.
Does it change your game up at all when you know there's a special engagement with someone that is well known? Does that change what you do?
Not necessarily. The only time it changes what I do, what I have to realize is I'm not a guy in this business that's, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not gonna get rich and famous. I'm just working. So telling jokes for a living is what I love. That's what I want to be able to do. That's what I love to do. That's enough. And so in order to keep working, a guy like me, when you're opening for guys like him, you go, what do you want?
What can I do for you?
Will you go talk to him ahead of time?
Absolutely.
And what do they usually tell you? Like last time you were here, you said you opened for him. This is a perfect example.
Yeah.
What did he tell you he wanted?
He said, do whatever you want.
Oh,
have a good time. And that's what most people will say.
Yeah.
But you have to realize, one thing I learned very early, in order to make a living, you got to respect your role in the show. When you're the host, you host the show, you do your time. If your last joke doesn't hit, too bad, your 15 minutes are up. Got to bring up the next comic, you know. And when you're in the middle, you just, especially with the bigger name guys, they may have something they just don't want you to do. Like they may not want you to curse. They may not want you to say certain words or approach a certain subject
because that's
that
part
they
of their
may
act,
deal with or something like that. So you just go in and say, is there anything you want me to stay away from? Do you want me to be clean? Do you want me? I will do whatever you need me to do because this is your show, not mine. They're here to see you.
That is cool that you have that attitude.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would hope people would have with me if I were in that position.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I would do the same thing. I'd be the guy going, do whatever you want. I don't care.
Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about a great time you can have at the Des Moines Funny Bone, but you want to get your tickets. We heard, there's
Look at
Bill
that
Blank.
guy.
As we heard last time Donnie was in town, sold out in a matter of minutes. So you want to get your tickets while he's here this weekend. DesMoines.funnybone.com.